May 23rd, Srila Prabhupada speaks of Rtvik initiations before May 28th. Recently, Gauridas Pandit Prabhu has written, and I'll quote from his article, quote, "I am qualified to speak on this subject because I was serving Srila Prabhupada when he decided to leave his body and made his final arrangements for how his movement would run after his physical departure. When Srila Prabhupada first announced that, he went to Vrindavan to leave his body. Devotees started to wonder if he would appoint a successor. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked Srila Prabhupada that question. Srila Prabhupada answered that he would appoint Rtvik representatives who would initiate disciples on his behalf." End of quote. Gauridas has also claimed that Tamal Krishna then discussed this with other members of the GBC who were at that time gathering in Vrindavan, since they had been informed that Srila Prabhupada would be leaving this world soon. Again, at the 1990 North American GBC meetings, Gauridas Pandit spoke about this. Here again is a video from that meeting.
And then a few days later, approximately on or around May 23rd, in Prabhupada's garden, Tamal kept reading Prabhupada letters that these devotees want to get initiated. Temple presidents are writing so many letters. And Prabhupada said, "So, I will announce Rtvik Acharyas will initiate disciples on my behalf when I leave the planet." And at the time I was a brahmachari from a very young age. Up till that time, I had a very good memory, clear. I wrote this information to Satsvarup Maharaj in 1978, just a few months after, when I was surprised to see how actually ISKCON came. When we were under the impression that everything Prabhupada said would happen, so there was no controversy at the time. And it wasn't until 1978 that we saw all these changes that I had to write these letters to Satsvarup Maharaj. Anyway, he said, questions were asked by Tamal, "Prabhupada, should we put Vyasa sons in the temple room?" Prabhupada immediately said, "No, that would create enmity among my disciples."
I think we'll come back to that point. That was in June.
Okay, I just wanted to state that these tapes, I pushed the button on these tapes, and the tapes are not available at the archives.
Okay, so I'd like to move on to the 25th of May.
Well, the description Gauridas Pandit gives sounds very similar to the description Tamal Krishna has given for having taken place early in July, when Tamal says that he had read letters to Srila Prabhupada from the temple presidents recommending devotees for initiation. Still, Tamal Krishna has stated at December 1980 that Srila Prabhupada did speak about appointing Rtvik Acharyas prior to the May 28th meeting. The situation was that the GBC had held off asking Srila Prabhupada to initiate new disciples for at least 6 months or longer prior to this, due to Srila Prabhupada's health issues. Since it had been 6 months or more since Srila Prabhupada had last initiated any new devotee, there would have already been a significant backlog of letters of recommendation building up by mid-May. And even though the GBC were aware at this time that Srila Prabhupada announced he would be leaving soon, that message didn't filter down to the rank and file members right away. However, as that message did filter down, the number of devotees wanting to be initiated by Srila Prabhupada before he departed increased dramatically, as did the letters of recommendation from the temple presidents. Therefore, it is most probable that Tamal Krishna had held similar conversations with Srila Prabhupada about the growing number of requests and letters of recommendation by the temple presidents, both in May and then again later in July. In 1980, Tamal Krishna had collaborated Gauridas Pandit's statement. The following is from a transcript of a recorded conversation that took place in the Topanga Canyon Pyramid House on December 3rd, 1980. Tamal Krishna said, what actually happened was that Srila Prabhupada mentioned he might be appointing some Ritviks. So the GBC met for various reasons, and they went to Prabhupada, 5 or 6 of us. This refers to the meeting on May 28, 1977. We asked him, Srila Prabhupada, after your departure, if we accept disciples, whose disciples will they be? Your disciples or mine? You can view the full transcript. I put a link up on. Tamal Krishna states, as Gauridas Pandit also tells, that prior to the May 28th meeting, Srila Prabhupada had mentioned he would be appointing Ritviks or Rtvik Acaryas who would perform the ceremonies of initiation on behalf of Srila Prabhupada.